Hi, we're going to go ahead and start in mountain pose today. We will start with our feet hip width distance apart. We want to stack the knees over the ankles, the hips over the knees, actively reaching the crown of the head up to the ceiling as we let the shoulders drop down away from the ears. We can turn our palms forward and close our eyes as we check in with our body, making sure that we know what's going on in our body tonight, that we're aware of any body part that might need to be taken care of or honored as we move through our practice today. Just seeing where the body's at today as we come to our mat to practice. And from here we can go ahead and draw attention into the breath, noticing where our breath is at today. If it's fast or slow, shallow or deep, we want to go ahead and start to slow our breathing down, letting the belly move as we inhale, letting the ribs fully expand before we exhale. We might have a little pause as we exhale before we start that natural inhale again. Finding that nice, slow, deep belly breath. We can begin to unfurl the brow. And as we breathe, we can start to feel the central nervous system start to relax. On our next inhale, we'll go ahead and sweep the fingertips up to the ceiling. Exhaling, coming into a forward fold, hinging at the hips, swan diving down. Checking in with the body here. Half lifting, coming up, letting the hands come to the shins, shoulders away from the ears. Exhaling down to forward fold. Inhale, reversing and coming all the way up. Exhaling into forward fold. Inhale, half lifting up. Exhaling, letting the hands come behind us, palms facing the floor into airplane pose. We're going to go ahead and shift forward, moving into chair pose. And we're going to go ahead and move with the breath here. So we want to inhale and reach up. Exhale, swan dive, forward fold. Inhale, half lift up. Exhaling to airplane. Inhaling into chair pose. Exhale, we hold. Inhale, we sweep up. Exhaling to forward fold. Inhaling, half lifting up. Exhaling to airplane. Inhaling into chair. Exhale, holding. Inhaling, sweeping up. Exhaling to forward fold. Inhale, half lifting up. And then we're going to hold here and alternate knee bends. Just going from side to side. Coming back to center. We're going to go ahead and exhale back down to forward fold. Let the hands find the mat as we step back into down dog. Planting the hands onto the mat, stepping back, letting the head move through, and alternating heel presses here. Bringing the knees down to the mat, moving the wrists underneath the shoulders. We find ourselves moving through cat and cow, using our breath to guide us. So as we pull into cat, we pull the belly button towards the spine, rounding the back, dropping the tailbone towards the ground, the top of the head towards the ground. As we inhale, reversing the curve of the spine, letting the tailbone go all the way up to the ceiling, lifting through the head. And we just find that connection with breath and movement, going at our own pace with our own breath here. Just moving through cat and cow. Flexion and extension of the spine. Moving with the breath. And we'll go ahead and go one more time. We'll move through both cat and cow. And when we're ready, we can go ahead and make sure that the tops of the feet are on the mat as we sink the hips back onto the heels and let the forehead either come down to the mat or the back of the hands, or we can stack the fists. Coming back up onto all fours, we'll go ahead and take the right foot out to the side. And we're just going to go ahead and rock back towards the heels and then back to the start position. So we can go ahead and either have the back toe tucked, or if we want a better range of motion, we can go ahead and put that foot flat onto the ground, depending on if our knee can go into that much flexion. So we want to do what is best for our own individual body today. So it might not look the same each time we do this. And we just want to rock back and forth. Then we can go ahead and press up, coming into our gate pose. We want to reach up, inhale, and reach over the head. And then come back down to all fours. Extending the left leg out to the side. Again, we're just going to go ahead and rock back and forth, and it might be different than what it was on the other side. It might feel more comfortable to have the toes tucked or to have the top of the foot flat. It just depends on each joint and how it feels that day. Let's go back one more time. We're going to go ahead and press up into that gate pose, and then inhale, reaching up, and then reaching over the head. Coming back, we're going to go ahead and go back down to all fours, taking the hands out in front of us, Spreading out the fingers, pressing through the thumb, pointer, and pinky. The two middle fingers don't have a lot to do here. We're just pressing through those three fingers, tucking the toes. We lift the hips up to the ceiling, pressing up into down dog. We'll take the right foot up to three-legged dog. We step that right foot up and through to the hands, spinning the back heel down. We come up into warrior two. Remembering to breathe. And from here, we're going to go ahead and turn that front toe towards the corner, turning the back toe towards the corner, heels pointing in. We'll go ahead and inhale, reach up. Exhaling to moonflower, elbows to the ribs. Inhaling, coming up. Exhaling, coming down. Inhaling up. Exhaling down. Inhaling, reaching up. Exhaling down. Moving with the breath. And we'll go ahead and go one more time. Coming all the way down. We come up and turn back to warrior two. Let's go ahead and turn the front palm and move into our reverse warrior. Reaching through the fingertips. Coming back to warrior two. Straightening out the front leg. Moving into triangle. Opening up with the top hand. Letting that bottom hand come to the shin, ankle, or the mat. Dropping and turning towards standing straddle, picking up those toes and turning them towards the side as we drop the crown of the head towards the floor. Drawing the chest towards the thighs. Letting gravity pull on the crown of our head. We can nod our head saying yes. And then we can come to center and turn our head saying no. Back to center. Let's go ahead and bend into that front knee, into our right knee, into that Skandasana, into that side lunge. We can pick up the back toes, trying to keep that heel pressed into the mat the best that we can. Sometimes our ankle mobility does not allow for that. We're going to go ahead and walk the hands around to our low lunge. And then from here, all we're going to do is heel toe, walk that front foot over to the left wrist. And then we're just going to lay that shin onto the ground, dropping the back knee onto the ground. We want our weight over both of our hips. And we'll just slowly extend through that back leg. Settling here. We can either keep it high in this position, or we can bring it down to the elbows, or we can bring it down to the forehead. If this position does not feel comfortable, we can always go onto our back into figure 4 or upside down pigeon. We always want to protect the body. So if this is not it today, we can always do this on our backs. And then from here, we can go ahead and come up. Again, we can lift the back leg if that feels comfortable. Sometimes that's as much as our body will allow. If we want to, we can reach back with the same hand and grab the same foot. Remembering to breathe. We place the hands down. Again, spreading out the fingertips. We tuck the back toe. We press up and go back to down dog. From here, we're going to go ahead and take that left foot up to the ceiling for three-legged dog. We take the foot up and through to the hands, spinning down the back heel. We come up to our warrior 2. From here, we're going to go ahead and turn the toes towards the corners of our mat as our heels go in. We inhale up, exhale, big circle down into sunflowers. Inhaling up, exhaling down. Inhaling up, exhaling down. Inhaling up, exhaling down. Using the breath to move us in and out of these poses. Let's go ahead and go one more time. All the way up, all the way down. Coming up and back to warrior 2. Turning our front palm, we move into our reverse warrior. We can either look up at those top fingers or we can look down towards the ground over our back shoulder, depending on how our neck feels, if there's any strain in our neck. We bring it back to warrior 2. Straightening out the front leg, pressing the hip back, we reach forward, moving into triangle, letting that hand come to the shin, ankle, or mat as we open up with the top arm. And again, we turn towards the standing straddle, pivoting our toes towards the side of the mat, dropping the crown of the head towards the floor here. Letting our breath lengthen on our inhale, and as we exhale, draw the chest a little bit closer towards the thighs. And again, we'll go ahead and bend into that front knee, into Skandasana, into our side lunge. And again, this heel should go down towards the mat. I know mine isn't. I have some injuries in here that is not allowing for that ankle mobility. Then we can go ahead and turn towards the front of the mat into that low lunge. And from here, we're going to go ahead and heel toe, walk that foot to the right wrist and lay that shin down, dropping the back knee down. And then we can kind of just walk it out a little bit. Coming into that pigeon pose, we can bring it down to the elbows if we feel comfortable, or we can bring it down to the mat. We can press back up. And again, we can lift the back leg up off the mat. That might be enough. Or we can reach back with the same hand, grabbing the foot. We can release, placing the hands down onto the mat. Again, tucking the back toe, lifting that leg up off the mat, stepping back into down dog. We can again alternate our heel presses here, pedaling the feet. And here we'll step up into our forward fold. Hands move to the shins. We lift halfway up, shoulders back away from the ears. And we'll go ahead and exhale back to forward fold. Inhale, reverse the swan dive, come all the way up and release. Let's go ahead and go into a tree pose. So any variation of tree pose for the body today, we'll start with the right foot, planting it onto the mat, spreading out the toes, getting a nice, good, solid foundation. We want to bring the knee over the ankle and pull that hip over the knee. So we pull everything up and in. We engage the lower core, reach through the crown of the head. When we're ready, we can either keep the toe on the ground and just bring it over to the ankle. We can bring that foot up above or below our kneecap. We just don't want to hook into that kneecap and put a lot of pressure pushing it outward. So anywhere above or below that kneecap. And our hands can go either at our Anjali Mudra, at our heart center. They can grow out like a tree, growing up, reaching up, even coming back together at the top. So any variation that allows our body to feel slightly challenged but safe today. And we want to remember to breathe. And we'll release and come back down. Switching sides, we'll stand on the left foot. Again, getting a nice, good, solid foundation, almost imagining roots growing out of the bottom of our foot into the earth. And again, we pull the knee, the hip, over the ankle, engaging the lower core, lifting up through the crown of the head. And again, once we're ready, we bring that right foot over anywhere above or below our kneecap. And our hands go where they feel safe, yet challenged today. whatever variation that may be. And we remember to breathe. And then we can go ahead and release. Coming back down. Coming into our mountain pose, feet hip-width distance apart. We'll inhale, reach up, making a fist. We'll bring our fists back around onto our sacrum, pushing the hips forward, dropping the elbows back, tilting the chin up to the ceiling, into our standing camel here. And then coming back, we'll inhale and reach up. Exhale, swan dive into that forward fold, hinging at the hip, dropping the crown of the head to the floor, counterposing the camel's pose, letting the arms hang here. The crown of the head hangs. And we can let our arms move in a circle. And we can reverse the direction of that circle. Coming back to center, we'll go ahead and heel toe, walk our feet towards the corners of our mat. We'll bend through the knees, drawing the chest towards the thigh. We drop the tailbone down towards the ground, and keeping the heels on the ground as best we can go ahead and bring our elbows inside, pressing out on our knees into our malasana or garland pose. Coming back down, we'll find ourselves moving into just a seated position. We'll go to staff pose, extending both legs, finding those sit bones, sitting on our sit bones, sitting up through the crown of the head. Sitting up nice and tall, elbow or shoulders down away from the ears. And from here, we'll go ahead and go into cradle the baby. So we want to grab underside of the right leg and any variation. So if we just find ourselves coming to this position for cradle the baby, we can stay here, or we can draw it up and in towards the chest, tucking it into the elbow and wrapping the other elbow around. From here, we'll go ahead and cross that right leg over the left. And we inhale and reach up, exhale, twisting to that right side. Letting our breath help us. As we inhale, we can lengthen the spine. As we exhale, we can twist just a little bit deeper until we find our stopping point. We release, coming back, switching sides, grabbing that left leg, pulling it up and under. Again, finding our own individual stopping point. If we need to be a little bit different on one side than the other, that is okay. From here, we'll go ahead and cross that leg over. We want to inhale and reach up, and exhale, twist. Setting the arms, using the breath to lengthen as we inhale and twist as we exhale. Inhale and lengthen. Exhale and go deeper. And we'll go ahead, release, coming back to center. We can grab hold of our hamstrings as we rock back, pulling our knees to chest, releasing the back here. We can let out a sigh sound. Just enjoying that release through the back in our knees to chest. And while we're here, we're going to go ahead and take the right leg or the right ankle and tuck it underneath the left and grab hold of that left ankle with the, we're going to grab the right ankle with the left hand. And then we're going to place the left foot down onto the mat and then drop that right knee towards the mat, holding onto the foot up by the body. We want to feel a nice stretch through that right hip flexor, through the quad, through the front part of that right leg. And we can go ahead, release. We can come back to knees to chest. And then we go ahead and bring that left foot underneath the right leg, grabbing hold with the right hand. The right foot goes down to the mat, and we drop the left knee down to the mat, holding on to the foot up by the body. So we want a nice stretch through that hip flexor and through the quad. And then we bring it back, both feet on the floor. We're going to let the bottoms of our feet touch as we drop the knees out into reclining bound angle or reclining butterfly. We can go ahead and bring our arms out like a T as we bring the feet back to the mat. We'll go ahead and pick up the hips, shifting them over to the left as we let the knees drop over to the right. Then we come back to center, bringing those hips back to center with us, making sure that our spine is nice and aligned. We'll go ahead and pick up the hips, shifting over to the right as we let the knees drop to the left. And then we can release, bringing the spine back to center. We can go to our Shavasana pose tonight or today. So we can extend both legs. We can let the toes release out to the side. Our hands and our arms can either be out to the side with our palms face up, or we can have them on our belly, closing our eyes, letting our body release into the mat, letting the breath just flow like a wave now at its own natural pace. We can look into the brow center, seeing shapes, colors, or patterns, not trying to focus too much on them, just witnessing them, noticing them. We can start to bring awareness back to the body, back to the mat, moving fingers and toes, bringing knees to chest, releasing one more time, and slowly making our way to a seated position, the easiest way we can for the body today. Go ahead and take a big inhale, reaching up. Exhaling, releasing wide. One more time, reaching up. Inhale. Exhaling down. We'll go ahead this time, inhale, reaching up, letting our palms meet together, coming back to our heart. Thank you. Thank you. Bye.